Hello, my name is Candle Kitchens and welcome back to Outside the Box. Today I'm going to be talking about how to gauge the health of a digital ecosystem. This is for online social media applications. So, main thing I'm going to be talking about today is just how, the main method that we've been using to go and gauge that is through the social media audit. And me personally, I've gotten to do this twice now because my professor had sent over the information ahead of the time that we looked at it in the course, mainly because I was applying for an internship that required me to go and evaluate the digital ecosystem of a company. And I do think that it's a very good method to go and look at the different statistics and presence surrounding a digital ecosystem and the different channels involved with it. I do find that sometimes the different categories can kind of overlap with each other and be a little unclear. I constantly have to go back and forth and reference and see, okay, what is the difference between this section and this section in order to properly differentiate. And even still, there's quite a lot of overlap in the general sense of the different categories. Like we have engagement and sentiment, which it's different in a way, but like they're very closely intrinsically tied to each other. Again, I feel like sometimes there needs to be like a cheat sheet for looking at that. But at the same time, I was able to determine a lot of the different information about how well the different social channels were thriving and how they contributed to the overall ecosystem of the company as a whole. I think the most important thing to know when you're going to go into that is to just recognize the standards of which the different platforms that you're evaluating have, as well as the different fields you are looking at, like what field the company you're looking at is in, because depending on those two things, the ratio of likes and comments and interactions is going to be vastly different. Like for example, when we were looking at the Chipotle social media for the class, like LinkedIn had a very low amount of interactions comparatively to their number of followers, but that's not necessarily uncommon for a business-to-business type platform like LinkedIn. So basically, to elaborate more on what the function of it is you go and you break it down into each individual digital channel, and you look at, I believe it's 7 or 8 different categories, and just go through by each. So their presence, their activity, their interaction, their tonality, whether or not they're deemed as authentic or not, and all of that goes into a sliding scale of, are they doing a good job in this regard, or is there more room for improvement? And sometimes the good is being right in the middle, such as, not being too over or undersaturated. I do think it's something that a lot of different companies really should go and do, because when you look at the whole array of a company's social media platforms, there are definitely a lot of major companies that do not take into consideration how each of their different platforms interlink with each other and what their numbers and statistics show overall. And it's really important to go and excuse me. It's really important to go and just examine and keep them all to that good, similar standard. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you for listening.